Let's get back to a different football team that has a potential head coaching candidate. That would be the Detroit Lions and their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. Some people have already called for Gerard Mayo's job at times. Other people willing to give him a little bit more leash, a little bit more leeway. Well, one of the guys that could, if they were to move on from Gerard Mayo, a guy that could replace him is a guy like Ben Johnson. And this is what Ben Johnson said about any head coaching opportunities that he gets maybe next year.
Me too. I love play calling. And so I would, if I took a head coaching job, would want to be a play calling head coach.
All right. He turned down jobs last season. Am I correct?
Correct. Yep. Felt like he had unfinished business in Detroit.
Mm-hmm. But if they win, and there's a likelihood, then I would assume that he might be a guy that you'd be interested in. I feel like Robert Kraft has put himself out there so far on Gerard Mayo that he's not going to be able to go away from him for a while.
No.
Am I right?
I think you'd be more likely to see Alex Van Pelt get canned and then bring in a new OC than for Gerard Mayo to lose.
There's no way that Robert fires Mayo after 1 year.
But let me just get this out there because I agree, Wiggy. Let's say they fire Van Pelt at the end of the season.
Yep.
Let's say Gerard Mayo gets his second year, and for our purposes here, it doesn't go much better.
Right.
So Gerard Mayo's gone after 2 years.
Okay.
The offensive coordinator was Van Pelt, Max rookie year. There's a new offensive Max second year. Then for Drake the second year. And then his third year, they bring in a new coach that's an offensive-minded coach, giving Drake his third coordinator in 3 years, which is how the Jets ruined everybody.
Right.
That's why it's going to be a difficult offseason.
Well, he's probably going to want to be with from the offensive mind perspective, a legit quarterback. Would he prefer Caleb Williams? If that job is available.
Oh, Ben Johnson?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to go to a team that you can look at and go, okay, I can turn things around. I have the quarterback in place. So that's a big part of it. But New England would be the same thing. I just don't think for Robert, who told us
that he identified him 5 years ago, and that's his guy.
But if he did move on from Gerard Mayo, Ben Johnson's a really good choice.
But the other problem you have with Gerard Mayo
I feel like you almost have to make it. If Ben Johnson would come here and the team is showing that they're inept, the future of this organization lies on the shoulders of Drake Maye. And you don't want to do 3 coordinators in 3 years. You don't want to bring Van Pelt back because he stinks.
You almost have to make that change.
Almost. Steve. I mean, it sucks. It would not be fair to Gerard Mayo. But I'm just trying to think about this logically.
But you can't. But see, the logical way you have to think about it is, what do we know Robert wants to be viewed at? He wants to be Hall of Fame, so it's all about perception. If you hire Gerard Mayo, you talked about you've had him for 5 years. He's a guy that was a top 10 pick in your organization when you were the owner, and you identified this guy when he was a player and when he was assistant coach under Bill Belichick. You talk about how, he's an African-American coach. His first year, there's no way that it's a good look if you fire him after 1 year for Robert Kraft, and he has to know that, and that's the thing that he wants, the perception. And if he fires Mayo after 1 year, I don't care what anybody says, people are going to be like, what an idiot Robert Kraft is for making this move.
What if there's an elegant solution a la Brad Stevens, you put Gerard Mayo in the front office?
But that Gerard's not going for that.
I don't know. Maybe he would.
He wants to be a head coach.
Well, no, because all this was a dog and pony show.
Yeah.
So, like, you tell me I'm your guy, and then you only give me 1 year?
He'd feel disrespected.
Like, how is anybody, honestly?
I'm sure he might feel disrespected right now. Because you and I both believe that he was given a promise that they didn't fulfill.
Right. And how does anybody feel good?
Wait a minute. Are you saying that Gerard Mayo was sold a Bill of Rights? Is that what you're saying?
Wiggy sold me a Bill of Rights.
Yes.
I was on the tip of my tongue, and I stopped myself from doing it twice.
All right. Real quick, I have Bruins tickets to give away, and I want to give those away right now since I promised that they would be mid. Not the Bruins are mid, but the giveaway would be mid show. So can I even call them mid after last night?
Yeah, no, they're still mid. I mean, they're 6, 7, and 1.
Yeah,
they're still mid.
Okay. So if you're the 9th caller right now on the contest line, which is 617-931-0937, you will be there Thursday night as the Bruins take on the Calgary Flames. That is tomorrow night at the Garden. Limited tickets still available at Ticketmaster.com/Bruins. Sorry, you had something to add, Shai?
Greg, I think there's really only one, maybe two solutions to your offensive coordinator or your offensive issues in the offseason. I think they might have to call Josh McDaniels. It's the one guy can run an offense, is familiar with the organization, is familiar with Mayo, and won't be a head coach ever again.
Wow, that's very interesting.